Lisa
Okay.
Osborne, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Yay. I'm very happy. And I'm very happy to see your beautiful hook looking face.
Lisa thinks I look like the character Hook from Once Upon a Time. For anyone that's wondering, why does Will have a hook face?
He's devilishly handsome. That's why.
So you
Okay.
guys,
Carry
you
on.
guys, you guys can't see this obviously, but Lisa is reclining because it is evening
No.
time in New Zealand. So Lisa, you are in lockdown at the moment, which is a bit of a reversal. So most of the people listening to this podcast are in the Northern Hemisphere, and we're pretty much coming out of it. New Zealand is in the depths of lockdown. Tell me, how has it been for you?
Actually, really good. Like, so I am always in on the side of the glass is, half full rather than the half empty. So I am going to find the positive in it. And today we just moved to level 3, which is obviously out of level 4 to level 3. And the only difference is that you can have takeaway, which is um, something that is very important to a lot of people. To me, it doesn't mean too much, but it's just a step closer to level 2. So, it's a positive day because we're closer to getting, and for me, level 2 means 2 things.
Yep.
One, my kids get to go back to school, and
Yeah.
that is so important in their lives and so important in our families functioning at the best it can be, is that the kids go back and are worried about them being away, obviously, like everybody else. And number 2, I get to go back to teaching classes, which is my absolute love. Jump out of the bed in the morning to do, and I miss my members and that connection every day that we have. That's so positive and so happy. So yeah, that's what it means to me. But it's also, I don't think that anyone over here should complain, because I think that we have had a lockdown at it's tough, but nothing compared to other people around the world. And because I connect and know what's happening in the fitness industry, and how hard it's been for so long, I will not complain about anything.
That is
At all.
that is such a great answer, because one of the reasons I was so excited to get you on my podcast, other than the fact that you're one of my best friends and mentors in fitness and in life generally, is because of your general approach to things, which is, and I heard it come out in what you just said, which is not complaining and getting on with things, and working towards always progressing, always moving forward, always trying to get better in some way, shape, or form. And one of the reasons I wanted to get you on the podcast, other than just wanting to chat with you, is because a lot of people that listen to this have been in the fitness industry for a while, like us. And we often ask, what are the things that you would like us to cover on the podcast? And the number one thing we always get back is things around longevity, and also around coming back from injury and coming back from things that pull you away from teaching. And this is something that I really want to talk to you about, because you have a very inspirational story in coming back from a full hip replacement, right?
Total hip replacement. Yes, I have a bionic hip.
The bionic woman.
Yes.
So we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask you one thing, which is, I remember 15 years ago when I was still living in New Zealand, you started to use the phrase "movement is medicine" in your teaching. And for those of you that know Lisa's teaching style, you'll know that she often has a very important phrase. And because of the way you teach body attack, that phrase will be "movement is medicine,"
It's
said on the
medicine.
2 count in a count of 8. So where did you get that from? Because it's something that I have taken on board. It's absolutely my mantra. And now I hear it more and more. And I think after the pandemic, everybody knows this to be the case. But you were like a super early adopter. Where did you learn that phrase from?
I don't remember, but I have held that. I have to have 2 phrases close to my heart, and that have been almost part of my soul. And movement is medicine has been number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2 is your smile is your energy. That's my second one. So yeah, I don't remember when it first happened for me, and I tried to think about this. Do you know what? I think that I live in the moment.
Yep.
I live in the day, and I myself have had, you're at home and you're not feeling great, or there's drama happening, and I always think outside the four walls of classes, there's so much crap happening in everyone's lives. But if you can come together, that's your medicine. That's what it's like. That's your pill. I mean, I don't take anything. I've never taken anything or whatever, but I've just found movement is always just can switch a light on. It makes you feel better. It connects you with an energy that you can't buy, you can't bottle, and you can't find anywhere on the shelf. You have to experience it, and that means you have to go to be with other people and move together. And I've felt that and believed in that wholeheartedly for my whole fitness career. Oh, and maybe not when I first started, actually. Definitely not when I first started. When I first started, it was all about, I was younger, and I think that it was all about a bit more self-focused about me.
And we've talked about this with so many people who've been in the fitness industry for a while. I loved fitness, and I wanted to be on the stage, and I wanted to be sharing my love of what I was doing, but it was self-focused, right? Like at the end of the day, it wasn't a bad thing. I was just young.
Yeah, it was all about that one word, I.
Yeah.
I. And then all of a sudden, if you really, really get into get up beyond the glamour of being on stage and being able to share energy and things like that, you really can see what's in front of you and see the positive effect that you have as an instructor. And you are providing a medicine to people that they can't get anywhere else but from the individual who's in front of them saying, thank you for coming. It's great you're here. Let's do a workout together. And I've learned through my own injuries and journey of problems that you just have to keep moving, and you change the way that you move. You take a different direction, but there's no excuse to not move in a new way if there's something that you can't do. So
sure.
Movement is medicine.
So we jump right into this. So just to wind it back, for anybody that wants to know about your history in fitness, I'm going to link to a podcast you did with another friend of ours, Bevan James Isles, where you talk about kind of how you got into fitness and your progression. But can you just tell the listeners, for those that don't know you already, what it is that you do right now, and maybe a little bit about what Body Attack and Body Step are in terms of fitness style?
So what I do right now is I'm a program director for Les Mills International. I create Body Attack, and I'm a creative director for Body Step. So I work mainly on those two programs. And what I do right now is I create workouts every 3 months for Les Mills in those two programs to re-inspire people to keep moving. And it's interesting because what I do right now is I want to keep people moving from my heart and give them a positive mindset and a positive place to come and just enjoy working out with movement and music. That's what I do all the time. And it's, I do more than that as far as, I mean, that's my main job, and I do a lot of other things. But
I like it when someone answers with their purpose rather than their detail, right? Like you could have said, I write choreography and I choose music and I do that sort of stuff, but you went straight to the basic of I create programs that encourage people to move because they enjoy it and want to be there.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I get up for every day, and that's why I love teaching. I mean, at the heart of what I do is I teach classes. If you ask me what I do, I teach group fitness classes, and I teach other workouts. Like I've just finished coming off a Zoom call, just providing a core workout to a whole group of people just to make them stay connected in movement. And that was my purpose of that class. That's what I do. I teach, and I want to inspire other people just to feel good about movement and music. We can do that through group fitness.
100% agree with you. Okay, so you have been, so Lisa, I recently joined Lisa's Team 33 Forever. So we're not going to reference any ages here, but Lisa, you've been doing Body Attack for a good number of years, and I have seen you continue to be kind of at the top of your fitness game, albeit with a few amendments and changes through 2 pregnancies, and as we've talked about, a hip replacement. So you have been through many journeys in your fitness career. We're not going to delve into this, but Lisa was also like a sport aerobics world champion. So you've been doing this high intensity, high impact, what would for many people be considered to be hard stuff on the body for a long time. Although I want to circle back to that because I have some opinions on whether or not that's actually true. But tell me, I want to delve specifically into the hip replacement because that is obviously, we all know, a really, really big thing that a lot of people have to deal with, and is something that's quite hard to come back from. So I want to just understand, you are at the top of the fitness world, pre-pandemic, traveling all over the world, presenting at conventions, training instructors, on this cycle of having to produce a new workout every 3 months. When did you start to realize that you were having issues with your hip? Tell me a little bit about that and how that affected you.
Okay, so I first realized that I was having problems with my hip when I was training for the CrossFit Games, actually. So I was in the absolute peak physical condition that I've been in for almost since the World Aerobic titles X amount of years ago.
X number of years ago.
Yeah, X. So I kept having this hip pain, but I had to train harder and harder and maintain my job and anyway, so I had to go and get treatment, and the specialist was saying to me, you've got no cartilage, you've got nothing there, you've got nothing, we don't even know how you're moving still. Actually. Wow. And I was like, no, I haven't. No, it's fine. I've got to go to the games. I've got to teach body attack. There's no way. And anyway, long story short, I went to the hip surgeon and he said that I would never do body attack again. I would never run again. I would just be able to walk basically a few times a week and or swim. Seriously. Anyway, so
how did you react? Like, what was your thought process? So all of the people listening to this podcast are fitness people, fitness instructors. You're obviously like a very high profile one. What was your response when the doctor was like, "Yeah, nah, you're done"?
No, it's not happening. Actually, seriously, I just said, I actually closed my mouth for once and didn't say anything. But I thought to myself, anyway, that's not how it's going to be. Anyway, so this was before I had to go to the World CrossFit Games in 2017. And so this was happening before that. And I was like, no, this is a one chance opportunity. I'm going to keep going. Anyway, so for 4 or 5 months before, I have a coach and who is with me now, okay, and expert in movement, proper movement, in technique and moving the right way and engaging the right muscles and so on. Anyway, basically he changed the way that I was moving and he gave me strengthening exercises and prehab to just keep going and get me through where I needed to go. And so I had to start moving differently. I had to start doing less of the impact, less running, but replace it with different things. So anyway, so I'll check a little bit. But so when I found out, I just had to change what I was doing and how I was doing it, and accessed Mark, who helped me get there.
Did you have a moment of, so the bit that I want to know though is, did you have that moment of, oh my God, grief, I can't believe this is happening to me? Or did you immediately flick into, nah, not happening, I'm working around this, and move on?
Yeah, no, not happening.
I love that. This is what I love about Lisa. For anyone listening, is that Lisa's like, no, and then just ignores, and which is a fantastic approach to the sort of trouble that you faced, right? Because you just immediately thought, well, I'm not moving, so how do we work around this?
You just have to change things up. That's the key, is that you can have people say, no, you can't do something, And you can get sucked in by that and then fall into that darkness and be in this cloud of doom and gloom and no, and oh, it's not happening. And then your whole mindset and your whole body will react to that whole environment. And that's often easier for a lot of people to do. And that's, I find that really sad, because I don't think in the past, and certainly when it first happened to me, that was the people's first reaction. Oh, you're it's finished,
You're done.
Oh, you're done. Lisa can't do body attack anymore. Oh my God, who's going to take over? And it's like, well, you know what? I'm going to show you the finger, because I'm only just getting started. And once I have my bionic hip, I'm going to be stronger and fitter and more able than I was before, because actually for the last 5 years,
you've been being
getting
impacted.
worse.
Exactly, right? So you've already been living with this, right? As I guess one thing to think of.
Yeah. And so and it was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I had basically, I can put myself in a bubble, whether it's right or wrong. My mother said it for a long period of time. Lisa, come into the real world or watch the news. And I'm like, no, I'm happy in my bubble. I'm happy in my 33 forever. I'm happy where I am, because I can control what I can control in my own bubble. And I think that's a really important message for people, is that, and my husband taught me this actually, you can control what you can control. And you must, and make that whatever you want it to be. So I love my job. I love body attack. I love what it does for people. I love its purpose. I love its heart and its soul. I love the people that do it. I love everything about it. I love getting up in the morning and knowing that that's my responsibility. That's my gold medal, if you like, when you think about the Olympics. That's what I have to create. And no one else can do that. I need to do that. So then, knowing that, I always go on to that, think, what do I need to do to make that happen? And it required change, so I could control things. One, I can't, yes, I've had a total hip replacement. I can't go and run 10 kilometers 3 times a week to maintain my fitness. I have to vary it. I have to get on the rower for my fitness. I have to get on the skier. I have to get on the bike a little bit. I can run once a week, and that's only a 5K, and that's all I do. And oh my God, it's so hard. Honestly, my hip really doesn't like running actually, but I can manage it if I take it slow.
Well,
and
also
I can do
you're
it
in
once
Auckland,
a week.
so like there's loads of hills, which I'm sure the running down the hills doesn't help.
No, it's down the hill that's the worst.
I hate running down hills. Running up hills is actually not that bad in the end.
Yeah, right. So, oh God, I nearly took off my sweatshirt, but I've got nothing underneath. That would have been scary. Oh, I'm starting to get a hot flash. So anyway, so you've got to control what you control. So, and you have to be smart about changing things up. You don't have to give up things. I didn't have to give up body attack, but I now take 55-minute classes. I only take 1 or 2. I can do, I have a permanent 155, 2 45s, 2 30-minute classes, and that's enough. Like, I know that maybe 10 years ago before my hip, sure, I was doing 6, 7, 8, maybe more even body attack classes a week. Realistically, I can't do that now. It's not good for my hip and it doesn't feel good. So I can still do it, but I limit the amount of time I do it, and I replace it with other things to keep my body strong and safe and able to keep going in my main job.
Yeah. And I totally understand this. I have had a couple of back injuries, like herniated discs and various things, which not the same as a total hip replacement. But as I've gotten older, I've had to learn how to replace some of the stuff. And Lisa and I do love the same type of exercise, which is high energy, high impact, like super, super energetic, lots of jumping, which I still do. I just do it less, and I'm more thoughtful about when I'm doing it. And sometimes if I'm doing it and I feel that my back isn't working, then I just drop into a modification. I take the jumps out, I continue doing it. There was a time when I would have pushed through, and now I understand that pushing through isn't necessarily the smart way to go about it.
No. And I think when we realize that our purpose is greater than being able to show off and do
Right.
10
Yeah.
tuck
Yeah. Yeah.
jumps in a row. So I don't need to do 10 tuck jumps in a row. I don't need to show that I can do um, a push up with a shoulder tap and
Mm.
a bunny hop and then a burpee. I don't need to show anybody that
Yeah.
at all. I need to be able to role model a certain level and a certain number of them. But then it's more important that I am motivating everyone to work with their own level and to acknowledge that, hey, I'm no hero. I can't do 10 in a row anymore, but I can still do one or two and I'll show you how to do it. I'll help everyone do
And
it
then I'll
safely.
coach.
And then I'll coach you how to do it your way really well.
It's funny,
That's the
isn't it?
bigger purpose.
I agree. And like, this is a conversation that we've had with a few people on the podcast and that I've certainly had sort of on social media talking to instructors, is that we have instructors and they go through an assessment and sometimes they'll say, I can't do tuck jumps anymore. Can I modify it? And I'm like, absolutely. The assessment is not about, are you the best? Like, it's not an aerobics competition to give like an
No.
example from you. It's about, can you coach it? If you can do one, if you can't do any, but you can teach how to do it verbally and show from a side profile or whatever you want to do, that's absolutely great. And in fact, it makes you a more empathetic instructor to not be able to
Yes.
do it. And I know this from my experience because when I was in my 20s, I was like, I can do the highest plyos and I'm going to inspire people by being super great. And maybe I did. And I feel that I was still a good teacher because I cared about doing the right things, but it was so self-focused. And now I realize that there were probably people in the class that saw me do those tuck jumps, and the same with you sort of back in the day, and
Yeah.
would have been like, well, I'll never do that. And so they disengage. Whereas seeing someone
Absolutely.
who struggles and who's been come back from injuries or admits on stage, I can't do this thing, but or your team teaching, and you'll be like, my team teacher is going to do this. I'm going to show you the low options because I can't do this. It's inclusive. And most of the people in our
Yeah.
classes can't do the things that we can do. Even now, like as we get older with injuries, we're
Mm.
still sort of, as a teacher, well above the general kind of execution competency of the people in our classes. So showing a little bit of weakness is really showing a strength because you're explaining to them that they can
Yeah.
too be there and modify and still get the workout.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you completely. And the other point too is that I think that people say, "Oh, I can't do it anymore." You've still got to respect that you need to train to be fit and strong as well.
Yep.
So, whilst whilst I don't need to show 10 tuck jumps in a row, to use the same example, I still want to be able to show that I'm fit and strong and and have so much respect in the whole fitness and what it does, and that I just don't want to sit back and become not fit or out of breath or
there's
not
a difference.
able to do those exercises.
There's a difference between I can't do, so I'm going to demonstrate what you can do, but I'm still going to be there in the training zone, versus I'm not going to do it or I won't do. And I think that is, we talked about this with Bevan actually. It's a trap that instructors who've been teaching for a while can fall into, which is there's certain things that you can't do. And so they don't do them, but then you can't, I'm just going to say it because this is Group Fitness Real Talk where we talk about real things. Some instructors just become lazy, and an injury is not something that is an excuse for tapping out or being lazy. It's a chance to work around it in a way that works for you and helps to inspire the people in front of you. But there's a tendency to be like, well, I can't do that anymore, so I'm just not going to do the tuck jumps. I'm just going to squat. That's not the way you should be teaching
it. No, exactly. And you have to do the hard stuff. You have to do the challenges. Like honestly, I really don't like running out for 5Ks, but I know that it's something that does help my overall fitness. It is something that does make my classes feel easier, and it keeps me at a level that I can show really high level fitness. So I have to do the challenge. It's important to take the hard stuff and do the challenges to keep yourself as a great role model and inspiring others to push hard to get fitter and feel better as a result.
Yeah, for sure. So let's wind it back a little bit, just because I want to sort of deep dive into exactly your process. We've talked a bit about some of the tactics that you use, which I think we're going to come back to. But you have this diagnosis, which was that. So was the diagnosis that you have to stop, or was it that you have to stop and get this total hip replacement?
The diagnosis was
your hip's gone.
I couldn't. honestly do a step curl in the end.
I remember you telling
And
me that you were push scootering all around Auckland because just
I
walking
was,
was difficult.
I was. So I did. Yeah, I scooted
Like one of
everywhere.
those
People were,
one of those dogs that has one leg that they can't use, and they have the wheelie trolley.
it's because I couldn't run anywhere. So to know
When
me
you're
is to
always
know that
late, I should tell the
I'm
listeners that
always
if
late.
Lisa can't run, then
Oh,
she's going to be late for everything.
I was, because I'm always a minute after the minute to be somewhere. So
Yeah.
I'm always racing anyway. So the only way I could get places fast enough was to use my son's scooter. Seriously. And
So did you have
the
the
other
scooter in the back seat of the car, and you parked the car
I,
and zoom,
everywhere.
zoom.
Everywhere I would get out and get my scooter out, and then I would scoot, and I would go overseas to summits, and I'd take the scooter and I'd go from room to room on my scooter, because walking was so painful. Honestly, it really was. And
Yeah.
I just couldn't run. And so I had to find another way to get places fast. So I thought, oh, I'm going to use a scooter. This is before they even started bringing electric scooters. So I was well ahead of the game.
Yeah. You're ahead of the curve. Absolutely.
People used to laugh at me when I was on my scooter all the time. And I was like, I couldn't even get scooters here for a while. I mean, Romain from France brought me one from France, because I wanted a special a scooter that you fold up, and you couldn't get them here at the time. But yeah, that's getting back to injury, or life. You find another way to do what you need to do, because that's what you want to do to make you happy. So when I was told about my hip, the thing is that about the surgeon is that he really did say that I would never run again. Now, basically, what he did say was this, and not okay. So you talk about. I mean, I don't ever not say what's the truth anyway. But so he said to me, basically, your hip is like a tire, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you do X amount of miles, you need to replace the tire sooner.
Yeah.
So he said, it's going to be your choice. You feel amazing with the hip. He said that. You feel like brand new in a year. You feel like you have hip. I mean, I don't even feel like I've got it. I mean, I'm moving better now and lifting heavier weights and snatching stuff that I was doing before my hip.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm moving better. So
yeah.
He said to me, you'll be fine. He did say that he didn't think I'd be able to do anything like body attack. But anyway, I am fully aware that my hip replacement, I don't think will last me 20 years,
mm-hmm.
because that's what you can have a hip replacement and it'll last you 20, 30. You might only ever need one if you only walk or swim.
Right. That's now, for the average person who doesn't do what you do, right?
Exactly. So I could do that, and I would be so unhappy and so miserable. Or I can do the miles, and yes, it is going to wear and tear. And maybe in 10 years instead of 20, I'm going to need another one. But I'm going to take that risk, I'm not going to spend my life not doing things for 10 years because I'm worried about a second one. I can't inspire people from the bloody couch. I need to be moving and keep going and doing things. So, I that is the realistic side of it. Is I'm sure there are people out there that know about hips as well, and they're probably saying, yes, you can't, but, and I know that I'm putting the miles on my hip early, and I'm going to have to deal with that early as well. So yeah, but the other thing too is that I have one hip replacement, total hip replacement. My other hip has nothing. There's nothing wrong with my other hip.
Really?
So really strangely, I'm very lucky and fortunate that it is only one hip and not the other one at all. So yeah, there's a high chance I'll need to get another one, but I'll deal with that when the time comes.
So on this point, and I have known you a long time, and I also know that you have never been the biggest fan of taking a lot of time out, even when you maybe should. And so when you had your hip replacement, I just remember thinking, this, knowing you and knowing how much fitness is. It's not a profession. It's a passion, and it's a reason for doing everything that you do, right? And so I knew how hard this would be. And so one of the things that I was most impressed with was the fact that you like, I feel that it was the first time that I kind of seen Lisa and gone, hey, she's actually taking the time and going slowly. And I guess that like slowly for you is
I did.
obviously still faster than most people. But after you had the replacement, tell me a little bit about that. Like you basically had to kind of learn to walk again, essentially, didn't you? And so what was that
Yeah.
process like?
Yeah. Yeah, I did slow down, but I did it the right way. So once again, I had a coach before who worked on this. I was so strong in my quads, in my glutes, in my hamstrings, in everything that I needed. I would push through training to be strong before the operation.
Like prior to the surgery.
Yep. Yep. I spent those 4 months. I trained so hard to be, and just through excruciating pain, I still did exercises because I knew that it was just the pain of my hip and it wasn't going to get any worse.
And you're getting rid of that anyway. So
and I was getting rid of it. So I had to just get through and do all the exercises to keep everything around it really strong. So I knew that as soon as I had the operation.
And this is because if your like quads and glutes and all of the surrounding muscle is stronger, then it'll be just easier once you've got the replacement hip in to just integrate everything back again.
Yeah. So what happens? People get when they can't move, all their muscles disintegrate. Like they go and they don't get weak, and everything starts to fall down.
So it's not just
problem.
the hip itself. It's all of it's the failure to move and all of the surrounding biomechanics.
Yeah. So it's the prehab that hasn't been an important thing. Like even to my surgeon, he was astounded by the strength of my muscles going when he was in the operation. Couldn't believe how strong everything was and how hard it was
he had
to
yank them apart to put the hip
in. Yeah, he literally said that. So he couldn't believe it. But that was my for the months before, that was my focus. So and then coming out of it, of course, within one day, everything still wanted to work. Yes, it had been cut, but everything just wanted to get back to work so quickly. So and the other thing too was like, I remember my surgeon saying things like, you can only do 10 minutes. I was on the bike the same day, literally on a bike.
Okay, so maybe you didn't take as much of a rest as.
No, I did. No, he said you couldn't go. You had to just sit and just sort of like, you literally, it's an incredible operation. You are on a bike the same day. So I was, and you can only, you're up super high and you can't, I mean, you're moving the leg, you're moving the muscles. They want you to walk.
So this is prescribed. This wasn't Lisa Osborne jumping on and being like, I'm training. This was rehab to get the joint moving as soon as it goes in.
Yeah.
Got it.
But the thing is that he would say you can only walk for 10 minutes, and so I did it 3 times a day instead of like once a day. So he would say you can only go on the bike for 10 minutes. I go, well, is there any reason why I can't go on it in the morning, at lunchtime, and at nighttime? So I would literally do the exercises he would give me, like the hip extensions and knee and movements and stuff. Instead of just doing it once, I honestly would do it 3 times a day. So I was just adamant that I was going to make it back, and I did everything right. I had my coach again. He was incredible. I mean, and I did other stuff. I was pull-upping in the week.
I saw that actually.
in a leg to do a pull-up. So I just made sure I got, when I had my coach, I would say to him, you just have to hold me, make sure I don't fall. You hold me and let me get up on the bar, and then I could do my pull-ups, and then you can hold me and lower me down. Yeah, and I remember him laughing because all I wanted to do was a handstand. He's like, you can't kick up on the wall. I'm like, oh my God, can't you just hold me and I'll just do it? But I would find, and then I found the ski erg. So I could do a ski erg before I could do any other.
Right, because you're not really having to drop into a squat or lift your knees up on that, right? You're involving your legs, but at a very easy angle for any joint pain.
So once again, you find other ways to get fit anyway. And it took me 12 weeks and I was back at filming. I didn't miss the filming.
Did you not? I wondered about this actually. So you basically did it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Have you ever missed a filming round? Once? No.
No, but you should have seen the way I was moving. I was moving I was in such perfect technique coming back.
Right, because you'd actually had to stop and start and learn again, right?
Yeah, and it was a great thing. I move better now than I did before my hip. Absolutely. I've learned to engage better muscles, get stronger in my hamstrings, activate my glutes, screw my feet to the floor to engage better muscles before I do squats, things that should help me who knows? Maybe you'll protect the hip joint because I'm moving much better now.
So you went through this a long process of knowing you had to have this operation, and then knowing that you had this long period of recovery. Did you have to deal with any kind of sort of unhappiness or depression or mental well-being issues, or did you just kind of go, this is what has to be done and move through? Because I know that a lot of people, when they get an injury or a diagnosis, can often kind of sit in the negative feelings, which is, to be fair, is perfectly reasonable to do, right? Because these are big things that people have to deal with. How did you deal with that? Or did you just focus on doing what needed to be done in order to get back, like at the earliest time you could?
Yeah, no, I was definitely sad.
Yeah.
I was definitely, I had sad moments, and I didn't know, I was hoping that I would still keep going, and
Right, because we're all talking in hindsight, right? But I guess that there's
yeah.
all the potentials that things can go wrong, or that things can go badly, right? Like obviously now down the line you can look back and know that it turned out well, but I guess at the time there's all that anxiety of what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not very good at thinking about yesterday, so I can't really remember a lot of the things I went through even last week, let alone a couple of years ago now. But that's the truth, actually. I do move on very quickly. That's just the way of my coping of things that happen in life. But you can only control what you control again. So like I was worried about my job, you bet. I was worried about being 33 forever. I was worried about them wanting someone else to come in and just take over because I had a sore hip. But and I know that's what they were talking about. I know that was a conversation. I guess
like looking at it from the business's perspective, they would have to think, well, if this doesn't go well, what are we going to do? Like, no disrespect to you or not wanting you to come back. It's just the reality of life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, but I was very open to bringing in other people. I was open to, I needed support. I needed to build, and it was a time where the company was building more, bringing in younger people, not just younger, but other diverse people as well. So, and I was open to that. I wanted to, at the end of the day, I want the program to keep going, and I want my program to keep going. And the more people that love it and understand it and can continue my heart and soul that's in the program, then the better. So, I think it may, and my company respected that. I mean, Jackie Mills is my boss, and she has supported my mission, me. And I mean, she's the reason why I got the hip replacement. 500%. So I had full backing from her, full backing. So that gave me confidence, and I was open, and I didn't try to be anything that I wasn't, I think that was important. Like, it was hard, but I was going to continue to try to be better and stay with it. And I think they respected that. So I didn't try to do or be anything that I wasn't. And I was open to support and open to others working with me, and it just grew the family, grew my Body Attack and my Les Mills and fitness family. That's basically what it did.
This is actually a question that I've got for you, and I'm really curious to know. So I imagine, given the program that you do, which is like high impact, high intensity, and it is obviously able to be modified, but it's sports training, and sports training involves jumping, and it involves agility and all this sort of stuff that people have a perception that the older that you get, the less capable of doing it you will be. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, and I know that you probably don't either. But I can imagine that being 33 forever and having done it for a while, there was probably sort of thoughts and talk of what will happen when Lisa becomes to a point where she's no longer able to do it. Do you think that now having the hip replacement and coming back and being the person that you are has actually changed that perception? Because I know that I look at what you're doing with Body Attack, which is such an energetic, high intensity program, and think the fact that you're doing what you're doing after going through what you've been through, and with your history in fitness, I think it changes the game and the perception in a way that maybe it wouldn't have before. Does that make sense? Does what I'm
Yeah.
because you kind of answered the question, right? It's like, it just like, is Lisa too old to be doing this? No, she's not. And so,
No,
and I can
no.
prove it.
Yeah. And I think all it's done is helped me make the program more accessible.
Right. Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
it's done through my life, through the hip replacement, through having kids,
Mm,
through losing my best friend a year ago, through the people that are in my circle, everything that you all the moments and the people in your life that you've experienced contribute to body tech. Body tech is me,
mm,
and everything that I've learned in life to make it better for other people. Movement is medicine. Through Body Attack, it's been a medicine to me. I want to help Body Attack be a medicine to other people. Through hip replacement, I've learned how to modify moves in Body Attack to still make it work and still
yeah.
interesting and achievable. Through having kids, I know what you go through, what moves you can't do. You
Mm,
can't do a single knee lift or a high knee run, but you can jog on the spot with
yeah.
the baby. Interesting enough. So the thing is that the more you experience in life, and it just has through for me in fitness, it's only helped me have an understanding of all the different types of people out there and what they go through in their lives, in their fitness. I mean, I even understand that people don't have time to go to the gym. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a full big supporter of fast classes, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
30-minute classes, 45-minute classes max, because people's lives now don't have time for 55 minutes. I mean, the greatest instructors are not necessarily the there's no age, but the
Yeah.
greatest instructors are the ones that have experienced different things themselves to understand that there are so many different people in front of them
Yeah.
that are all different and require different types of things. So
Totally agree.
that you're not a control freak. It doesn't have to be done this way or that way. It's like it's your way is the best way, and they mean it because they know that they've had to make changes themselves or adaptations to make things work. And it's like a great athlete. The greatest athletes or the greatest rugby players or the greatest Olympians will be people that have been through hardships and journeys that have struggled to understand what it takes to actually be the very, very best. I mean, that's an individual, but for us as instructors, the more we experience, the more we can open our eyes to
Yeah.
see all the different colors that are in front of us.
That's so true. All of that is so good to hear, and I agree with it all. There's such a tendency in our industry because it is an industry about physical movement, and particularly now that it becomes so image focused with Instagram and social media. And it used to be the case that you would go to the gym and you'd see the great teachers, and the great teachers would be great teachers because people were coming to their classes. And now, right or wrong, there's like loads of famous fitness people. Some are absolutely fantastic, some are not fantastic, but they're usually given that prominence not because they were creating change in their classes, but potentially because they looked a certain way, or they could display a certain type of look or physicality. And so if you're an older instructor that's been teaching for a while, you can often start to think that I'm not the right profile for this opportunity, or I don't look the right way, or I don't move the right way. When what we should really be focusing on is the fact that the older you get and the more you've been doing this, the more you understand. You may have to
Yeah.
modify. You may choose to teach different things because you don't feel as comfortable role modeling it, or it doesn't work for you. But
Mm.
tapping out of the industry that you really enjoy because you feel like you're too old, or you can't move
Mm.
the way a 20-year-old moves, it's just bad for everybody, because everybody needs to
Yes.
move, and older people need to move,
Yes.
the people that are much older than
Yep.
us. And if you can inspire them through your journey and what
Yes.
you understand and what you learn, then that's the real key. It's not about
Yeah.
doing the 10 tuck jumps, the highest in the room. It's about
No.
getting everyone in the room to move, and everyone outside the room into the room.
Exactly. And it saddens me so much when somebody says, "Oh, I think that I'm so in denial about my age, but I love
But that's
that."
fine. Me
And
too. I'm like, we're on team 33 forever.
yeah, that's it. But it makes me so sad, and it breaks my heart when I see somebody think that they aren't as good as the new instructor that comes in to take over, because we all have different audiences as well. And
Mm,
that's the other thing, is that um, everybody will inspire different people in a different way. And if we only ever just, this is why it frustrates me knowing it's always about Gen Z. Let's get Gen Z into the room. How do we get Gen Z?
Yeah.
Sure, focus on Gen Z, but let's keep people going. Let's get mums and dads and grandmas and grandpas back in there. That's a huge part of the population. Yes, we want to get people young to get them through, but they come and go quite fast. They're fickle. They come in, they go out, they change things all the time. Whereas somebody that maybe an instructor that it has a different demographic, a different audience, different ages, these people are important too.
Yeah.
And if instructors need to remember that's important. It's whoever's in their class, their age, and get them in there. And yes, maybe it isn't, you are inspiring different people and not the 20-year-olds. Let somebody else do that. Say that's okay.
Yeah.
Because that's not me. But you are you do you, and you inspire the people that you have in front of you, because everyone's important.
Yeah.
And mums and dads and grandmas and grandpas are all important as well.
I completely agree. So on that note, how do you personally keep what you're doing? So you're creating a program that people teach right throughout the demographics, but that has to appeal to everybody, right? So you need to be up with the play. How do you, as an instructor that's been in the game for a long time, keep yourself fresh and up to date in terms of what fitness is?
Yeah. So I definitely look outside of just what we do in our company. I think that there is so much out there, and I love looking at new ideas, what's happening in the industry now. I watch my son. I mean, I put a move in my latest track 7 that my son was doing in his island group performance. They do an island group performance for the Samoan group, and they did this knee slap thing, and I was like, I love that move so much. And next thing you know, it's in my latest body tech track 7, but it was inspired by my 16-year-old son, and he's at Auckland Grammar. They do a performance, and I watched it, and that came into the class. So I watch agility training. I watch my youngest 10-year-old, what he comes home and does from TikTok. I watch an arm line that's on TikTok. So I stay current because I look for what's current, and I don't just sit in my own bubble with my own movement class. So that's how I think I keep inspired by everyone. I look around. I listen to different types of music and all different types of genres, and it's not just about what I like. I get lots of feedback. I get lots of ideas. I have friends of all ages. I respect and listen to everybody. I don't just think I'm not, I believe in a team. I believe that you're only as strong as the team that's around you. So I think that's how I keep current. I keep looking and asking questions and wanting to keep it fresh. At the same time, though, I always hold on to what I feel is the reason why something has survived so long. And that is definitely, once again, it is thinking about a workout that reaches as many people as possible. I mean, I wrote this down. Go ahead. I can never say so many years because I'm 33 forever, and I can't say like I wrote it however many years ago.
Let's just pretend that it numbers in the decades.
Yeah. But it was right from when I was at university. It was, I wanted to inspire as many people as I can, in as many ways as I can, the very best I can. That was it. It's simple. I wrote it down, 3 lines, and I've been true to that for everything that I've done. So at the end of the day, my class needs to be current, needs to be modern, but it also needs to be achievable for everybody, as many people as I can. And it needs to have joy. I love that word, joy. It needs to be fun. Maybe that comes from me. I don't want to just smash myself and die on the floor. I mean, what fun is there in that? I want to work hard and feel good at the end, but I do want to, smile and look around and have a good time. So I always want that to be a part of it as well. So yeah, I really love, and I think I always think back to what I loved about why I do what I do. And I loved the energy, and the music was fun, and sing along, and the energy. So I always want to keep that a part of the program that I create, because at the end of the day, that's what, to me, that's what was the buzz. That was
Yeah.
that was the thing, and that
If
drew
there's
me
any
to
word
it.
that I can think of to sum up your teaching style, it is joy. It's just having fun moving.
Yeah,
And it all stems from there, right? Like having fun moving. So bringing as many
yeah,
people into the movement as possible, making sure that,
yep.
and like you work hard. Let's not joke around
Mm,
that. We haven't even touched on the CrossFit thing, which is obviously
mm,
a big thing that you do now, but you're not a fan of or you're not a fan of hard work. You don't steer away from
no,
hard work, let's put it that way. But that hard work always comes with knowing that you're going to get that euphoric high, and then once you've gone through the hard work, it's all about joy and smiles.
exactly. And it should be like that. That's what I believe in our classes or in our workouts. Is the most important thing, is we provide a workout that takes you away from the outside world, you're inside, and whether your class is 30 minutes, 45 or
Mm,
55, people leave there going, oh, I forgot about my life for the last X amount of minutes,
yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah,
just
yeah.
feel good. And now I can feel better about tackling everything that's on the outside of this experience. So, and that's what gyms can do for people, and that's what clubs can do for people, and that's what classes can do for people, and a
Yeah.
great instructor can do for people. Mm.
100%. Well, I think that's a really great time to wrap this up. I'm going to finish with one question, which I did give you an advance warning of. But if you were going
I
to
didn't
give,
read them.
yeah, I'm saying that because I'm like, bitch, she didn't read it. But I
No?
think you probably touched on this before. If I asked you to give one piece of advice to a group fitness instructor, and they don't have to be a new instructor, they could be like an instructor at all, but one thing that you wish you'd known when you started that you absolutely know now to be true, what would that piece of advice be?
That music and movement is medicine,
Ah,
and your smile is your energy. And if you can walk into a room every time, every class, with thinking about them and how what a great positive experience it is for them, because you're smiling, you will make them feel great no matter what the workout. So keep focused on them. Remember that you're changing someone's life just by that time that they're spending with you for the better. And that's more important than scripting, more important than your cues. It's more
mm,
important than being on the right foot the right way. It's actually your positivity, your smile, and your full belief that you're helping them have a better life.
yeah, absolutely. Well, Lisa Osborne, thank you so much for taking the time to join the podcast and talk to me. I want to take this opportunity to say a personal thank you, because of all the people that I've worked with in my fitness career, you are the person who I have learned the most from, and not so much around technical stuff, although technical teaching stuff, obviously that too, but just in terms of general approach. And so for anyone that's listening to this that doesn't know Lisa, but you know me and you like the stuff that I do, just know that so much of what I do is based upon the things I learned from this wonderful person that I've been talking to. So hopefully we'll do this podcast again sometime and we can talk about other stuff. But thank you so much for
Yeah.
taking the time to speak to me. Your journey back from hip replacement is something that is super inspirational. And also, I think everyone listening to this will just be inspired by the general approach that you take to teaching classes and bringing fitness to more people. So Lisa Osborne, thank you very much.
Thank you.